This is my boat shed in Arctic Finland. I am building this 15-meter liveaboard cruising sailboat from scratch, using 3D modeling, CNC cutting and wood epoxy construction. And my name is Panu. Welcome! In previous video we got all these molds here on the boat. We cut some things with the CNC and started shaping the frames. In this video we're gonna cover three things. First is to glue the first things on the boat. I know we have done those frames, but I mean these first strips on the side of the boats, and they will be the permanent pieces for the boat. The first one. That is really exciting. Second, we're gonna do some magic with the CNC, at least I hope so. And the third, I want to show you how the shaping of these frames is going. But let's now start with the gluing. And the most important thing about that is that now I got the heater installed. Let's check that out and fire it up for the first time. This is my brand new 20 kilowatt diesel heater. I got today these pipes for the exhaust and I installed them immediately. This big pipe I got for free, and it is kind of a through wall, goes from the in to the outside, and there is a mineral insulating stuff inside there so that no hot pieces are touching the insulation or the tent. So that should be good. And now it should be ready for start, and there is fuel inside. I just bought a can of fuel and put it in, and yeah, it's now late March. It's 2 degrees outside, so very springy. That was a joke. I don't know how much we can really raise the temperature here, but we'll try it now. And it is important to try it because then I know if I can start gluing those things this weekend. It's now Thursday. Let's get some power to that and start it up. Very exciting to see how it works and how hot this pipe really is going to be. Gonna keep the door open just in case to get some snow if something goes wrong. Maybe it's just initial starting when there is no fuel in the system. There's some kind of error code. See the manual. I will keep trying. Okay, this didn't work at all. Apparently the problem is that the horizontal pipe is too long. There's too much pressure against the smoke, and yeah, it just shuts down. And now when I remove one of the pipes from the horizontal, it worked for a while, but then it shut down and then it kind of, well, didn't explode, but puff. I was hoping to get some gluing done this weekend, but apparently not. I should have moved this whole freaking thing to Spain 2 years ago. Not in a mood right now. Nothing goes how it's supposed to go. Well, I got this through tent and it didn't work. I put an external chimney to get more pressure difference there. It didn't work either. So I decided, f it. And I just used it like this. For now, I used it last night, a few hours. It was okay. It heated up this place from 2 to 3 degrees to 14.5. So it works. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave that to be. Gonna maybe make it better someday, but not now. But let's now put that on the background and focus our effort into this, because now I have decided that this works well enough, and today I'm gonna glue the first pieces for this boat. And that is freaking exciting. These are first pieces that are actually gonna be physical permanent pieces for the boat. And I'm gonna mix some epoxy, put that heater on and glue these side deck strips here, and I'm gonna do slightly thickened epoxy. It's pretty chilly in here right now, so the epoxy is not very liquid, but I still want to have a bit structure in the epoxy to fill maybe some gaps or something in there. But what we're gonna start with is to do wooden dowels for those alignment holes. We're gonna need a bunch of those, not very long, but still they kind of hold them in their places. So yeah, let's start the heater and start working. So annoying. I just realized that I must have thrown away all the cups and those things using epoxy. I just have a couple of these smaller ones, and the mixing doodad, and I need to go and buy some stuff before I can start anything. Stupid me. And everything of course works like a boat job. It takes 3 times the time and 3 times the money. Next I'm gonna clean up these. There's some dust and stuff already there, so I'm gonna vacuum them and make sure that everything is clean and nice, and then we can start mixing the epoxy. And it's already over 16 degrees here inside, so I vacuumed these sides now. Now they are clean. And actually I decided that I think I'm gonna give a light sand of those surfaces. There are small sticks and splinters here and there, and I kind of want to get rid of those and to make sure that the surfaces are clean for gluing these together. So let's do that now. And it's already 16 degrees here, and this overall is way too much now. Everything is now prepared for the glue up. The surfaces are smooth, the joints look good. I have screws, I have glue, I have all the equipment ready. But now before I start the glue up, I'm gonna go and eat something, change my clothes a little bit more light. I'm gonna leave the heater on to heat this place. It's now almost 17 degrees in here, which is absolutely amazing. But of course, all that stuff in here, it takes some time to them to really warm up, including the epoxy itself. Not too worried about that. I have done epoxy work way below freezing, so it works just fine. But yeah, nothing really more in that. We'll continue with the glue up tonight. Okay, I'm back. A little bit lighter clothes, very nice in here. The heater has been now on for a few hours and it's 17 degrees in here. It's very nice actually, and yeah, it works very well. There is a slight smell here, of course, not very bad. I think now I'm gonna start the glue up, and I don't want to run that while I'm doing the work because, well, it's hot in there, of course. Afterwards, I'm gonna refill that and run it through the night. So let's now start mixing some epoxy As mentioned, I think I'm gonna do slightly thickened epoxy. This has now worn up a little bit, not very much, but still. And I have a slow hardener here, it's okay. And then I have this bucket of this very light stuff. I'm not gonna put this very much in there because the plywood will most likely soak some bit of that epoxy. So if there's too much, it might come too dry. Just a little this to act as a kind of glue and fill some voids if there is any. It's not very good quality plywood that where this bulwark is made of. So here's my dowel pieces and everything should be ready. Glove up. I think I'm gonna put now time-lapse cameras over this place and we'll see how this goes. First piece on its place. Now I just need to put the dowels in to make sure it's on the right position and then screw it down with multiple screws to make sure it's really against the foundation there. Looking good. Alright, first piece in. That took quite many screws. It's also a quite big piece of plywood, so it's kind of crooked in all directions. Now these are much more narrow and much more stable, I think, and easier to put in. So let's continue and see what happens. Alright, I got the first side completely glued. It went smoothly eventually. Of course, on the start there was figuring out how to really do that, but eventually I think I got it. Just spread the glue on the bottom and on the piece and then put it on its place. Then I need to whack those doubles in and then put the screws and clean the squeeze out. And that's about it. Now it's starting to be a little chilly here already, but I'm gonna now start the heater again and do the other side. So on the front it's done, but I need to do the whole other side. I think it will go much faster than this. That was some night. My back hurts a little bit and yeah, it was quite a job. It's now 11:30 in Sunday night. While it may not look that dramatic change, but emotionally this is a huge milestone. Now there is first pieces glued onto this boat. And actually when I'm thinking about the next steps, they will come very quickly. So yeah, I already have cut the next pieces, the side decks here. I need to cut the side walls here and then we can start gluing again. That's gonna be on next video though. But yeah, it went smoothly after all. Beginning was a little bit slow. I really didn't know how I should do it and I made in sections that first side. Then I decided that it's cool enough here, so I spread the epoxy to the whole length of the boat and then all of the pieces, and then put them in and put those doubles in and screwed them down and then just clean up the squeeze out, and yeah, it went smoothly, although it was a bit hard for my back. But they are in, and that is amazing, and it looks very good. Everything, of course, went exactly where they should be, so thanks to those doubles, of course. We will continue tomorrow, and I will now go home and get some rest. Okay, next day. It's a bit smoky here. Apparently the heater doesn't like that the fuel runs out, but I opened the door. It will go out soon enough. The glue up went quite well. It's still a bit tacky. It was pretty cold night as well, so it was down to -2, I think. But during next week or so, the temperature should rise quite a bit. So anyway, now that this glue up is done, I can start focus on the next tasks. One thing is to get those pieces out from those. They are already cut with the CNC. Those are the side decks. Then I have another pile of plywood there. We need to cut them to the side walls here. And then I have plenty of work with the frames to be shaped. But now I will start cutting the side walls from that another pile of plywood, which is over there. I started again by planing the CNC spoil board to make it really flat. At the same time, I cleaned up all these side deck pieces. They are now ready to go. And the reason why I clean up the spoil board was that I want to have it completely flat before I start machining these. And the reason for that is that I'm gonna do scarf joints for them. The side decks are flat and there's no curve on them, so the puzzle joints most likely work just fine there. But the bulwark sides, they are of course bent, and puzzle joint most probably won't work there. So that's why I'm gonna make scarf joints for them, and I'm gonna do it with the CNC, of course. I have the CNC. That way I don't need to do any kind of jig or do any manual work. Well, the scarf joint in this case, it's not completely flat scarf joint, but it is kind of small steps. I have now all the programs ready. I'm gonna start with that. Let's take a little closer one particular detail. To make the scarf joints really work, we need to place the boards very precisely here on the CNC board. And here you can probably see this small edge right there. That is the 0 line in Y direction, and here is the 0 line in X direction. So we need to put the plywood edge right against this. And actually there's a small radius here. I need to make that straight before I can put the edge in here. So this is the important one, so that we can place the plywood exactly where it needs to be. And the scarf joints will be done here, like that, gradually rising from this edge. We'll see how that works. Cleaning first. Just so that there's nothing between the board and the wasteboard. Now it is right in there. The program itself is quite simple. It just goes back and forth with the x-axis and does the steps. Let's push the start and see how that goes. And here we have it, the first scarf joint. It looks very good, very small tear up here. That's just because I have used this bit to make those deep grooves with very slow speeds, and it's not most likely that sharp on the very end anymore, so but it doesn't matter. I can easily sand this away, and it was not particularly fast either, so it took 35 minutes to do this one scarf, which probably is slower than doing it by hand with proper jig. But I will tweak the program a little bit to make it a little faster. Maybe half that time can be achieved with this. But anyway, it should be very accurate, of course. There's nice steps, and these longer steps on the top and bottom is of course to prevent this last bit here being too thin. It will break much easier, so I did a little bit thicker ends there. But does it fit to the other side? That remains to be seen when I cut the second one. Now I'm gonna take this off, flip it around and cut it in those pieces. So let's do that now, and then we'll continue with the next one. One thing I did wrong with the first one was that I didn't screw it down, even though it looked like it was completely flat, but plywood really never is. So here you can see it's up in the air in this corner. I could see that the joint there wasn't completely even. There was a little bit of a thickness difference between the left and right corner over there. So need to screw it down to make sure it is flat against the foil board to make it work properly. Something went very wrong with my program. I don't know what it is. I need to figure that out. I don't know what happened there, but this went like 2 times deeper than it should. The first pass should be halfway through and the second pass just in here. So yeah, there's something wrong. I don't know what happened. On this end there seems to be taper. That might be intentional. I can't remember right now. But in here you can see how the router bit just started to jump. That was scary. Back to the computer it is again. 3rd time. I checked the program, that is fine. What I think is the problem? Yep, it's my router bit that got loose and it dropped down like 1 centimeter. It feels scary, I would say. So the program was right, but the Z value went down because this bit went down. Yeah, this is upcut bit, so it wants to go down with the spiral. That was the first time. Just to make sure there's nothing between the collar here. No, it should be good. Let's tighten this good for this time. Well, that was scary. I hope now it holds in its place. I need to zero it down again. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, this doesn't work. I think I'm gonna do what I did with the foundation pieces. I'm just gonna make a small mark here and cut it with the circular saw. This bit doesn't work this way. It's too long, it starts to wobble, and then it's most probably gone in a few minutes. I almost screwed up big time again because I didn't check. It did it again, the last cut. The blade started to wobble down, and that's why it was so violent and awful. So I probably need to purchase new collar for that. I mean the thing that holds the blade in position, because I bolted it down very firmly. So yeah, it just doesn't stay there. This is really annoying because I don't know if I can trust that anymore, even doing these scarf joints. Well, anyway, now I'm gonna put it on the right position and do those small marks on this board. Then we will figure out what I'm gonna do with the next. Yeah, this is kind of unexpected problem. Maybe the problem is that when it once gets loose, it kind of tends to do it again. Oh, this is loose. Yeah, it has loosened up considerably. Yeah, it's not tight at all. That's annoying. Now it should be tight again. Okay, I wished I could have done more today. Everything kind of went sideways. But here we have the first piece of the scarf joint. Now I'm gonna get the other half and we'll test how they fit. If it goes like everything else today, it doesn't. And the camera battery and the microphone battery will die in any moment. But still, you can see now that they kind of fit. It's not perfect. It's a bit loose. There is too much of a gap here, but that is because the blade wasn't on proper height or my plywood was loose from the bottom. So I hope this comes better eventually. Now I got the second sheet of the plywood here. And now I have screws in there as well to hold it down properly. Now I'm starting the program to cut the first scarf joint here. Then we're gonna flip this over so that the scarf joint will be on that end on the bottom side, and then we'll do another scarf joint in that end again, so that this sheet will have scarf joint in both ends on opposite sides. We'll see how that goes. Alright, now I have cut 2 sheets with the scarf joints. Now I'm gonna run the second program to mark the cutting positions in here. That's pretty straightforward, and then I'm gonna use my skill saw to cut them in pieces, and yeah. Then the next one and next one. I think there is 7 sheets to be cut. Not that many actually. This is the second one, so 5 more pieces to cut. And the last one, of course, doesn't have the scarf joint in other end, so need to remember that, of course. I actually built this guide for my skill saw. This is a self-made track. The blade goes just in this edge and the guide for the skill saw goes with this edge. So I can just put this edge right where I need to cut and it should go completely straight. And it should be very, very straight, of course. So, yeah. Okay, I think you have now the general idea what's going on in here. I'm gonna put now just some time lapse for the rest of the day and we'll see how far we can get. All right, one dusty boat worker here. Now I have cut all the pieces for the side bulwark walls. They are all in the rack except for this one. There is one screw, its head broke, so I couldn't get it out. Luckily it was the last one, and of course it was the last one. So yeah, I need to get that tool which kind of takes the broken heads off and yeah. Anyway, meanwhile I did one additional frame. There is now 7 frames done all together, only 8 more to do, so almost halfway there as well. Nope, there's 11. Next pieces are ready and I think this is now a good place to stop this video and we will see in the next one where we start to even at least try to glue these side bulwark walls and those side decks in. That's gonna be exciting and yeah, we'll see how that really goes. Today was actually pretty warm day. It was almost 15 degrees inside here, but don't worry, next week or so is going to be below 0 again. So this is maybe 4th winter for this spring. Definitely gonna need that heater. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you, of course, so much for watching and thank you so much for my patrons. Without you, this would not be possible. I'm really right there in the limit if there is possibility to continue making these videos with this pace, because it takes quite a lot of time to edit, of course. So if you want to support making these videos a bit more, check out the Patreon page, check out the t-shirt store down below, and of course watch these videos and share them with your friends. And we will see you in the next video with some exciting process. Bye bye!